Hello everybody, welcome back.
Welcome back to the channel.
Last video, we had a lot of sounds on the mic. We hold mics, that's probably our biggest problem, but we will work on that. So when I edit this, I won't be so loud.
In 2025, you think it would be crispier than that? No.
Yeah, so I'll work on that. So that's the first thing. But how's it going? Group stage of the Euros is over. We have our quarterfinalists. So that is what we're going to talk about today. But yeah, we're going to quickly go over a couple of the games and then kind of talk about the next round because I think it's fun. So this isn't going to be hopefully our last video was 30 minutes, Sarah. I was not anticipating that.
I was anticipating it because I called it every time.
Yeah, so hopefully this isn't too long, but some exciting things have happened. First and foremost, the group of death, obviously the most interesting group. We're going to wait till the end. Timestamps down below because we're going to talk about that at the end. But first up, Group A. Group A was interesting because Group A this might be the best news of the tournament, in my opinion, that the Swiss moved on. Group A decided it's going to be Norway and Switzerland. The last games of group play were in Group A was Norway versus Iceland. Now that was a crazy game. Lots of scoring in that game. Iceland was on the board, then it was Norway, then Norway scored, then Iceland kind of came back. Then there was a red card at the very end, 2 yellows to a red. So that means that Norwegian player is out for the next game, which is significant. Anytime you can't pull a player, anytime you can't play a player is significant. So that did some damage as well. It was a really crazy game. It was a fun game. But long story short, Norway topped the group and they will be in the quarters. They're going to play Italy first round. I do think that's going to be an interesting matchup. I think Italy has a good chance of winning that game, to be honest. I'm almost putting my money on Italy for that game, but that will be interesting. Now, the third game of Group A for the final spot was Finland versus Switzerland. Switzerland only needed a draw in that game, and that probably, I would actually say that has been the most exciting game of the tournament so far, in a way. I mean, there's been a few exciting ones, but all they had to do was draw to move on. But Finland in the 79th, it was 0-0 until the 79th minute. Then Finland got a PK to go ahead. So that meant Switzerland was not going ahead because they converted on their PK. That meant Switzerland was not going to advance. But in the 90th plus second minute, a miraculous, I don't know, it was meant to be. They scored in the 90th plus second minute. The crowd went absolutely wild. That meant they were going on. Actually, I will be honest, the last 5 minutes of that game was a little sketch for Switzerland, but that would have been heartbreaking if Finland would have come out with a win there. But Switzerland is moved ahead. So excited for them, to have that home support. Apparently they're doing what every country seems to be doing when they have the home Euros. Just they're becoming household names. So happy for them. So happy for the whole squad. They definitely deserved it. So they are moving on. Group B. The last game of this group was Portugal versus Belgium and Spain versus Italy. But Belgium beat Portugal 2-1. And I don't know if a lot of people were anticipating that. They kept Portugal from advancing. And I don't know, I think that's exciting. Hey, maybe we can't move forward, but keeping a team from moving forward is always, I don't know, kind of exciting. Portugal were down 2-0 and then they came back. But I'm sure Belgium had I think every team has had a moment of excitement throughout the tournament, and that was definitely Belgium's to leave the Euros on a win, beating Portugal. Now, Portugal from the get-go were already devastated by the loss of Jota and his brother. So, I mean, you kind of, I don't know, is your head fully in it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's definitely tough.
Yeah. So, not that that's excuse, not that they would ever say that's an excuse, but are you ever fully in it when something that major has just happened to your country, Then Italy versus Spain. Now, this was an interesting game, too, because Spain had already advanced, but this was interesting. Italy scored first. They scored first on Spain.
Whoa, that's wild.
Yeah. 6 changes to the lineup of Spain. Also, Cata Coll is still out with tonsillitis. I know it's serious, but this seems more serious than the meningitis, practically.
Yeah, I wonder if she got him removed.
Oh, that's an interesting point. I wonder if they just said, "Hey, if you get them removed, that's kind of a hard recovery too. That for especially for an adult."
All I know is you get a lot of ice cream.
Yeah,
As a kid, anyway.
that would be the best part. So she's still out. 6 changes to the lineup. And a lot of people are saying, is this Spain team going to win the Euros? A lot of people are saying, although they look good, they're not looking completely superior to France, to England. They did win. They did move ahead. And in Italy, they were playing Italy. And what's great about this was even though they beat Italy still qualified because Portugal couldn't beat Belgium. So Italy's in there as well. So it was kind of an exciting game. Portugal weren't making a comeback in their game, so Italy also advanced, which was exciting. So Spain and Italy are moving on. Then the Group C, this group was already decided. Sweden and Germany were already qualified. Poland and Denmark were playing, for pride. You want to get a win out of there, you know what I'm saying? But Sweden and Germany were still vying for the top spot in their group. But the Poland-Denmark game, exciting. That was kind of a high-scoring game as well. 3-2 Poland. So Poland left the Euros with a win, which is exciting. You always have to have that one moment for your country in a tournament. Whether or not you move out of the tournament, having that one moment to say, hey, we have something to be proud for, that's always exciting. They had this win. Unfortunately, Denmark, they scored 2 goals, but
they lost.
Yeah. And I would say out of all the teams, Denmark was probably one of those teams who, I don't know, I don't think they lived up to the potential that I think they kind of had, but, The big game in that group was Germany versus Sweden. This just means, so whether you're first or second in your group, are you going to be qualified first or second? What side of the bracket does that mean you're going to be on? So I think most teams don't want to be on the bracket with Spain. So, there is a lot to fight for. But in this game, I will say, this game was pretty, Germany, I don't know if this is looking like a Euros winning team anymore.
Sorry, Germany, but this was hard to watch.
Yeah, it really was. Especially because, but I will say, just like England had that bum game, I don't know, you kind of have a bum game and then you come out and you say, underestimate us, please. Then you're not going to think, I kind of like that idea, getting along, but not smashing teams, because then the teams are maybe you think, oh, okay, we're not worried about them.
Yeah. I think Germany's going to come back stronger than ever.
Yeah.
And it's okay, KB. Yeah. It's okay.
And a lot of people, like you said, were kind of blaming Ann-Katrin because she has a very unorthodox style. And they asked Jen Beattie, I believe it was Jen Beattie, the other commentator goes to Jen, what do you think about Ann-Katrin? Do you think her style is a little too unorthodox? And I believe what Jen Beattie says, it's unorthodox, but she's not changing. I think that's exactly what she said.
Yeah, I like it. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, there was some people who said, hey, she almost looked like she didn't care out there, which I didn't see that. I just saw her doing her own style. But I don't know. Maybe it's kind of like underestimate me. Sometimes you have one bad game and that's all it takes to lose your confidence or get subbed out or whatnot. But yeah, the final score is 4-1 Sweden. But the first 10 minutes, I will say, was good for Germany. They had the first goal in the 7th minute. After the first 10 minutes, it kind of was all Sweden. And I guess the big news of this game was the red card, the straight red card. The German player wanted to play keeper. Maybe she wasn't trusting AKB. That's what I have in my notes.
No, she just had a reflex, a sudden reaction that unfortunately resulted in a handball.
Yeah, handball, and that made it so, the type of handball it was an automatic red. Do you guys like that rule that if you are a defender, if you're a player and you keep the ball from going in, you get an automatic red? That is kind of, I don't know if I even like that rule. I mean, it is a rule, but it's like, okay, I kind of understand that it's a yellow and it's a PK, but a red card? I know that's the rule so people don't do it, but I don't know. I felt really bad for her.
I can see how that is a red card rule, because that's a pretty intense offense.
Yeah.
That run.
Yeah, it is pretty intense, so I understand that. But actually, even down to 10 players, Germany only allowed one more goal after that. So, I mean, that was kind of impressive considering they were down for so long. Also, that means they can't pull from that player. Also, with Gwinn out, it's not looking good. But then again, sometimes when you're down, you pull out the big wins when people are counting you out. So, final score 4-1. That means Germany ends up in the second position in their group. Sweden ends up in the first position. That means Germany's going to be on the Spain of Spain. They have a tough road to the final. However, Germany also gets 2 more days for their quarterfinal. So, although you're going to face France first, you get 2 extra days to kind of recover, which is kind of big. 2 days. So we'll see what happens there. Then the final Group D. Now, Group of Death. Everyone knew going into this, more than likely it was going to be France, and for Netherlands to move on, it was going to be tough. I'll put the graphic up. I know we kind of talked about it last time, but for Group D scenarios, France advances with a win or a draw. England were to advance with a win. Netherlands would advance with a win with an England loss or draw. But then if Netherlands beats France, Netherlands would have to beat them by 3 goals, if that makes sense. So it was not looking good for Netherlands because more than likely the English weren't going to lose or draw to Wales, and more than likely Netherlands, it's going to be hard to win by 3 goals. So without making this too long-winded, Netherlands, France. First thing people noticed, Viv Miedema didn't start. Now, that's not the biggest news, only because we know that she's coming back from injury. We know she's not going to play unless she feels right. I don't know. It was big news, but people kind of understood the circumstance. But it was going to be tough to overcome. Netherlands basically had to beat France by 3 goals. I mean, I don't know. The final score is 5-2. And first half wasn't bad for Netherlands, but second half, Netherlands just, I don't know, fell apart, ran out of steam, couldn't keep up with France. It was looking okay for the Netherlands. Going into halftime, it was 2-1 Netherlands. Now, by that scoreline, they still wouldn't have advanced, but that actually would have kept England from being in the first place in their group. Second half, that's kind of where everything fell apart. France scored in the 61st minute, in the 67th minute, and then a PK converted in the 90th plus second minute. There's a lot to say, but nothing to say. I think a lot of things went wrong for the Netherlands. A lot of people are blaming Jonker, the coach in general. We didn't even talk about this, but he was on a podcast about a week ago. Even the commentators on the broadcast were saying Jonker made this all about himself. Obviously, we know he's leaving. And then Netherlands coach denies causing Euro 2025 puppet show with podcast comments.
Speaking on the NOS Football podcast, in an episode published on Thursday, the 62-year-old said he considered quitting his role ahead of the tournament and expressed concerns over his authority and the support he was receiving. In a heated exchange with the media ahead of the Netherlands Euro 2025 opener against Wales on Saturday, Jonker was accused by one journalist of creating a puppet show whereby everything was about him and not the players.
So he kind of made a lot of things about himself, and people thought that was inappropriate. Hey, focus on the players, not about whether you think you're going to be the coach. Why even bring up, hey, you thought about quitting? It seems pretty disrespectful to the players. So people thought they made it about him. So I don't think it set off the tournament in a good light. Obviously, Viv wasn't 90 minutes fit, and going back to the game, she never even came in. I think, according to what I read, maybe it was her decision. At that point in the second half, were they going to come back from 3 goals down? Probably not. And if Viv wasn't fully healthy, then was it worth risking further injury? So she didn't even play. And after the game, there was an interview. Somebody interviewed DVD saying, "Is this your last tournament?" Well, actually, she confirmed that it was her last tournament in the pre-match press conference. So she already said this is her last tournament. And then an interviewer asked her after the game if that's the last time she will represent Netherlands internationally. And she said she didn't know. She goes, she has to think about it, give it some thought. And, that must be really hard to have your last game be like this, So needless to say, Netherlands out. No one's completely shocked by that, but it's upsetting, to see a team kind of crumble. But I think every team has that moment in a big tournament. Germany didn't even get out of the group stage at the World Cup, so it just sucks, especially for Viv. I mean, I don't know. It just did not end well. But that goes to the Wales-England game. Now, we knew Wales was probably going to lose. I mean, I don't say that in a mean way, but based on the score, but based on everything. And England did what they have to do. Now, there was one kind of controversial moment in this game, which was the first goal, that England was awarded a PK. And a lot of people were saying, this was not a PK, this was not a foul. The referee first said that it was a free kick, and then it went to VAR, and VAR basically said, not only is it not a free kick, it's a foul in the box, therefore PK. But then I see people online saying, English supporter here, however, surely that wasn't even a foul. We got so lucky there. And then someone goes, absolutely shocking refereeing. That never was a penalty. And then people are saying, dear me, that's not even a foul. Ridiculous decisions. And then someone goes, cheating Stanway. She threw herself on the ground, shameful Stanway, because, she got tripped the way it happened, because people have said maybe it was in the box, but was that really a foul? So I don't think that helped Wales with their morale, thinking they were playing pretty good. They were hot out the box, they're hot on the field. Then it kind of, England just kind of overpowered them at that point. The final score was 6-1. Georgia Stanway had the PK in the 13th minute, Ella Toon 21st minute, the 30th minute, 44th minute, Beth Mee got a goal in the 72nd minute, great to see that, and then Aggie Beaver Jones in the 89th. So they just overpowered Wales. Wales did get an amazing goal in the 76th minute. The Wales fans were loud. They showed up, so...
Yeah, and I heard a lot of booing for England, I feel like.
I don't know if that's where the Wales people were positioned, that just you could hear it, but I heard that too, because the rivalry between Wales and England is so fierce and strong. But I did hear the booing too. But I mean, being from such a small nation of Wales and facing your rivals, and not just in sport, in life, even though they're all part of the Great Britain, I don't know. I felt bad for, I don't think everyone thought that Wales was gonna win. But getting that penalty called against Wales, some people thought, that didn't look very fair. But what does everyone think? I mean, I don't think there was the most surprising outcomes, but the quarterfinals, the first quarterfinal match is going to be on Wednesday, the 16th, in Italy versus Norway. I think Italy has a very good chance of winning that. Then Sweden and England, that's going to be an exciting match on the 17th. But if you look at the brackets, I'll put the brackets up. I will say the right side of the bracket is, if Germany wants to make it to the final, they're going to have to beat France and Spain as well. Then the next game is going to be against Spain or Sweden and England. I think that's a toss-up. I do think England's going to win that. And then Spain versus Switzerland, I think Spain's going to win. And then France and Germany, that might be the most evenly matched team maybe, but France is looking really good.
I want everyone to win. So yeah, unfortunately everyone can't win, so we'll have some winners and we'll have some losers.
Yeah. The 19th is going to be the last quarterfinal. That will be France versus Germany. That will be an exciting game. Oh, and they're good. They're all at 2 p.m. our time, which I like too. Questions, comments down below. What did everyone think of the group stage? Did anyone have an upset? Did anyone think that PK wasn't a PK? And Spain definitely looked beatable. I think that's one of the biggest things out of this tournament so far. Spain definitely looked beatable. Germany definitely looked beatable. And I don't know, France and England in the finals? I don't know. Like a rematch from the first game, and then England comes back to win it, and then wins it all. I don't know. That would be kind of a storybook ending.